Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Lane's English as a Second Language, Volume 3, page 43. Passage: The European Discovery of the New World. In the eyes of many people, Christopher Columbus was a strange man with strange ideas. He had two important ideas. The first was that the world was as round as a ball. His second idea was that because the world was round, a ship could go to the Far East if it went west, across the Atlantic Ocean. Because no one in his birthplace, the harbor city of Genoa, Italy, gave any attention to his strange ideas, Columbus went to Portugal, where people were more open to new ideas. But the Portuguese did not have much interest in Columbus's ideas, because their ships could already go to Asia round the south end of Africa. This is why Columbus went to Spain, where he put his ideas to make Spain into a great empire before the king and queen. King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella had economic, political, military, and religious interests in the ideas of Columbus. So they gave him some money, equipment, and 3 little ships, the Pinta, the Nina, and the Santa Maria. Though the ships were old, they were still in good condition. On August 12, 1492, Columbus went west from the Spanish harbor city of Palos out into the great Atlantic Ocean. This was not a pleasure trip, but a trip of discovery. After 71 very difficult days, Columbus, together with 87 seamen, came across land. It was only a little island, but it was land. He gave it the name San Salvador. The discovery of San Salvador took place on October 12, 1492. It was one of the most important discoveries in all history. It was the best of times for some and the worst of times for others. The world was never the same again. Before Columbus made his discovery of America, no one in Europe had any idea that there was a continent between Spain and Asia. The best maps had nothing on them. This is why Columbus made a big mistake. He gave the name Indian to the first people he came across, because he took them to be the people of India. The music, dances, arts, languages, and so on of these Indians were very strange to European eyes and ears. Before the end of his life, Columbus made 3 more trips across the Atlantic Ocean. There were new dangers every time. But at the end of every trip, he took some Indians back to Spain, together with many of the different fruits and things that he came across. One of the Indian vegetables soon became very important in Europe, the potato. To Columbus, until the very end of his life, his great discovery was not of a new world, but of a shortcut to Asia, the land of silk and spices and of riches out of this world. Because it is normal for discoverers to give their own names to their discoveries, the New World should have the name Columbia or the Land of Columbus. But in place of Columbus, the continent got its name from another Italian, Amerigo Vespucci, a discoverer, seaman, and map maker, who was the first to have the feeling that the land which Columbus came across was not Asia, but a new continent. In 1507, a Dutch physical geographer and map maker was the first to come up with the idea that the name of the New World should be America, because Amerigo was its real discoverer. So that's the story, the real story, of how America got its name. In the 100 years after Columbus made his first trip west, the Spanish overcame many problems and made many important discoveries about the geography and peoples of Central and South America. Between 1519 and 1522, Spanish ships went round the world. At the same time, Hernan Cortes, with fewer than 400 men, got control of the Aztec Empire and made Mexico City the capital of New Spain, which was the name he gave to all the land that is today Mexico, Guatemala, San Salvador, and Honduras. A few years later, in 1535, Francisco Pizarro, another Spaniard, got control of the great Inca Empire in what is today Peru. In less than 50 years and without a serious war, Spain became the controller of almost all the land between California and Argentina. Soon, the first wave of Europeans came to the New World. On the map of the New World, Spanish names were everywhere. The Spanish language became a world language. Among the many wonderful things the New World gave the Old World, that is, Europe, were a number of new foods. Chocolate, for example, was one of them. It came from Mexico. The word chocolate has an interesting history. It is two words from the Mayan Indian language, sour water. Without question, until 1588, Spain was the strongest nation in the world. It had control of both Portugal and Netherlands in Europe, much of North America, all of Central and South America, the Philippine Islands in Asia, and some parts of Africa. The Spanish Empire was the first real world empire on which the sun never set.